Okay, guys. Hello, welcome. Welcome to Chart, where we chat about art. This week, we're going to be answering what's up with the Mona Lisa. Why is the Mona Lisa so famous? What's up with that? When it's quite average, what's the big deal? I would like to start this episode with a question of the week.
Drum rolls.
Okay, the question of the week is a bit more emotional.
Boy.
Would you rather lose all your money or all your photographs?
I thought it was a serious question.
That is a serious question.
All my photographs come fuck off.
Photographs, easy.
Yeah.
I would rather lose all my money. I've spent I have so many photographs. I get them all printed. They're all stored in chronological order. I could not lose that. I would freak out.
It's about the memory of it. It's not about the picture itself.
Well, yeah, but I don't pay my rent with photographs, so
Exactly.
It would be a hard. It would be a hardship. Okay, it'd be a little bit difficult for a while, but you're
sure you
young.
get
You probably don't have that many savings. If you're going to lose your photographs, if you're going to lose all your money at an age, it would be this age. Okay, your parents could help you out if honestly you really got into a pickle. Gun to your head, someone's
I think you just live in a perfect family where they're so supportive.
yeah.
It doesn't work like that, Mara.
In Western Europe, things are different.
I have half and half. I'm like a cool mix.
Like, even if my parents were super nice, and which they are, but even if they weren't and they wouldn't support me if things went horribly, I would much rather have these mysterious origins. I have no clues of my childhood than actually lose my money, because I use my money for things. I don't use my pictures for anything other than to explain to people, look at how grumpy I look in this one. I'm like,
when I take these pictures and then when I store them, it's with the intention that later on in life I'll look back at them and I will. It's just so important to me to store these photos. I actually just bought hard drives so that I can put the pictures from this laptop and my old laptop onto the hard drives and then chronologically put them into folders so that I have all these lovely memories to look back at. So I feel like my kids, this is what I was like, an absolute mess.
you can look back on the things you buy with your money.
But what?
I don't know,
I can't show them a sausage I bought in 2014.
Right, and you can show them your haircuts because you lose your pictures.
I can show them, trip with my first boyfriend or, a picture of my family and what we'll all look like. I don't know. I feel Finn will agree with me.
Yeah. Well, he's a photographer. Of course, he
yeah, exactly.
Rather. Yeah.
But he has loads of money.
But in his case,
he has loads of money.
He can buy them again. But so losing our photographs, for him, does it mean losing also the ones he took? Professionally?
Everything.
Or only pictures of you?
No, everything ever. Everything, every picture.
Then Finn is fucked. This question is actually good for Finn because he has to choose between his Bush Labyrinth and his work as an artist.
Oh, look at him. No, Finn, it's not a question, Finn. You know the answer.
Yeah, you've already said it. You're going to keep the photographs. But then, if you have money, you can make more good photographs. You can buy better gear.
So you never have, you only have pictures from age 23 onwards?
No, that doesn't work.
That's so sad.
Is it
your formative years where all this stuff happens?
But then you can reinvent yourself.
I'm just so upset about that. I can't think of that. I really hold them very dearly.
Mara,
I need them.
No one has peaked before 23. If you've peaked before 23, that's way too early.
It's not about the peaking. It's about seeing how you've developed, how things have changed, what your family was like. And
well, then you're going to keep developing as a person.
There's so many lovely memories that are captured on film that I only have otherwise in my head Like, I don't want that. I want to be able to show someone and be like, this is what it was like. Just like I do with my mum's and my dad's pictures, where I'm like, that's so nice. So I really have an insight on what they were like at my age or younger.
But then when you're like 70, it's all gonna be the same. It's just like back in the days, that is what happened.
I like the history. I'd be honestly happy to lose my savings over the pictures.
Really? I mean,
That would really stress me out.
Okay, a slight change of that question. Would you rather lose your money or the things we do art-wise? Like all your pictures, all my books, all your paintings, all your like designs, things you do.
Designs.
Yeah, like your dress thingies.
Drawings. I'd probably be upset about the drawings than I would about anything else.
There you go. So in that case, that's a different thing.
I have pictures of the drawings.
Okay.
I'm more than happy to make more, like make new ones. I don't really give a shit.
I mean, well, at least you can do them in like a reasonable amount of time. Imagine you have to rewrite a book. You'll be like,
It probably take you like 2 years. Easy.
nah, I think no. It took me a year to write it and edit it. I think I would rewrite it in 3 months.
Because you already know like what would.
Because I know where the story's going and I know where the jokes were, so I'm good. I think I would
See?
be good at it.
so you would keep the money and then.
But it's something you said the other day. If I had to rewrite the book, I wouldn't want to because I've already done it. I've moved.
Yeah, you can move
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
You're different.
Write a better one.
Yeah, that's-
Okay, fine. You convinced me. Get the money. Capitalism wins once again.
Capitalism. Capitalism.
Capitalism.
Okay.
Sounds like
Well,
classic filler.
I'd
Anyway.
rather lose the money.
I really don't know. It's
But how much would you be losing? Because I don't have much, so I don't think I'd be losing that much. I could get it back once I get a proper job. You know, it might take a couple of years, but I could get that money back.
Well, yeah, but you live with your parents. If I lose all my money
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
I have to sell my ass in the streets. Because otherwise,
Losing all your money. Okay. I presume your money is not coming from like you going to a job.
no, but I have savings.
No, it is.
No, I know
It is-
Chrissy's it. Chrissy aside, it's coming from your parents probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you lost it now, they'd be like, here's money for next rent, for next, things, right? And then you could go get like a part-time job and like get the money. Like, I don't know.
But I've been
Make it
saving for
work,
so
though.
long.
But I think if I would lose all the money, I would have to then go do a job that I don't like. So
That's
if I would
true.
lose the money, keep my photographs, I would be so miserable because I have to work my ass off doing something that I don't like because I have to do it because I have to make money. So then I don't have
Okay.
So
time.
like every human being on earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Photographs. So I think I would make a smart decision and figure out a way to not lose all the photographs.
No, Finn, there's
You
no...
can't cheat
you
the
can't.
system.
There's no like...
The moral of the story is that don't be an artist, kids. It's horrible. Like, it's just adding more things you have to worry about. Don't. Just be a businessman and do coke. That's the easiest way.
So all you get is you lose and you win some money. They're the same currency.
everyone would do the money other than me.
I still don't know. I have to think about it. We'll come back at this.
we'll come
on,
back
time.
next episode. Okay.
Mona.
We can
Mona.
all talk about this all day, but yes, we're going to talk about Mona Lisa. And I've planned this to try and just give an insight to who she actually was, maybe. And then why did she become famous? And then I've done like a picture this at the end.
Wow.
What I did was finding some pages that list like secrets and like mysteries and curiosities about Mona Lisa, and then we can go one by one and
Okay.
talk about them.
I'm all for it.
So, who is she? That's a good question. She was painted by Leonardo da Vinci between 1503 and 1519. That's like 5 centuries ago. And now it's in the
Thanks.
Louvre. It's in the Louvre.
Our listeners will appreciate that.
Quick maths.
Guys, I'm just trying to like contextualize it, because that's a long while ago and it's an all right painting. So it's now in the Louvre behind some bulletproof glass. Or is it? I don't even think that's the real one, to be honest with you. That's just my own conspiracy theory. I think they've put a fake one. Anyway, that's not written in my notes. That's just personal. So I don't know if anyone's been. Has everyone been to see it?
Yep, I have.
Yes.
It's a packed room, like packed, and it's small-ish.
The
And also,
painting of the room.
yeah, the room's big,
painting.
the painting's small, and it feels a bit like random to be going to look at this painting, which is honestly average looking. It would not stand out if you didn't know what it was.
Yeah, but Da
Okay.
Vinci did it. That's
Yeah,
why.
but Da Vinci's done much nicer stuff.
Yeah, but I think he never did a more ambiguous work, and that's
But
what
he
got
didn't
people.
know that. He was probably like, I know who
Yeah.
that is. So the painting depicts a small, subdued, ordinary woman. She's dressed modestly in a translucent veil, a dark robe, no jewelry. She has a steady gaze and a restrained smile. And she has no eyebrows. That bothers me personally.
I've heard so many theories about the eyebrows of the Mona Lisa.
Some people don't have them.
So that's one of them. So some people think that it was a fashion thing in, I guess she was from Florence because that's where he did most of his work. But whatever. Like in Italy in the Renaissance, that was a fashion thing for high class. So you
Yeah.
would shave your eyebrows. But then again, I heard another theory, which I think it's funnier, and therefore I choose to believe this one, that sometime in the 17th century, some idiot said, you know what, I'm gonna restore the Mona Lisa because this painting has clearly been damaged by the centuries. So he poured something in the face of Mona Lisa that like removed the layer of paint. That's why she doesn't have eyebrows, and when she's like palish.
Yeah,
because
because it looks weird without the eyebrows. Like,
you
look at
ruined
this.
the.
Don't
Yeah.
I look?
My
don't
God!
I look weird?
Take your fingers out, Mara. Thank you.
I look weird when
That was
you do
that was terrifying.
Javier, can you please put your fingers over your eyebrows? Because you've got very thick eyebrows. Finn, it's not too bad because you have facial hair, so like there's something there. Oh, you look like Quasi. You look like Quasi like that.
Fuck off.
You look like Quasi.
Funny. You have a model.
Like, anyway, yeah, I prefer that someone just poured something onto her eyebrow and then that's why. It looks weird to me. But anyway, so who is she? Well, it's thought that she was maybe this guy Francesco del Giocondo's wife, and he was a wealthy merchant, and that's why in French it's called La Joconde, and I think in Spanish it's called something Gioconda. But however, there's never a record of that commission happening, so there's nothing to say it's her. To be honest, that's just a guess. And it's called the Mona Lisa because Giorgio Vasari, I thought we should do like an episode about. He's quite important. He wrote on loads of artists, and that's how we know a lot about artists' lives. He wrote that this was Giocondo's wife, and wrote Mona Lisa like as her name.
It means my lady Lisa or something like that in Italian.
Yeah, it's not like her literal name.
Now the original painting is called La Gioconda. It's never mentioned as the Mona Lisa anywhere other than by this guy. It's not an official name, but it was the famous
in English, we'll call it the Mona Lisa because we don't call it.
You're idiot. Yeah, I know. It's incorrect. The painting's name is La Gioconda.
Okay, I agree. I prefer it that way anyway. I was raised to call it La Joconde, so I understand. So that's what makes her mysterious. Somewhere I read called her mysterious seductress, but she has no eyebrows, so I don't think she can be a seductress.
I read an even weirder theory that says that La Gioconda is a self-portrait of a young Leonardo da Vinci.
Okay, I like that theory.
That's cool, right? That apparently he he just painted himself, and for some reason,
Wanted
someone
to be a woman.
no, like one of the things that is frequent in the Renaissance art is to like go from the very male hypermuscular body of the which we represent like David or like things like that to a more juvenile kind of like almost feminine childish way of representing, and you can see that very well when you compare Michelangelo's David with the other guy whose name I can remember. He did another statue of David which is much smaller and in bronze, and there he looks like a child, like
Like a youth. Okay.
yeah, basically like a
But then
12-year
why
old.
would she be a woman?
But it's not a woman. That's the thing. If
Oh,
these people argue that this is not a woman, this is just a very
but the outfit, though.
androgynous looking. Well, you only see the
boobs.
chest, so it could be.
I'm not sure about this theory. I'd need to see the paper about it.
Yeah, an academic
But
paper by
I-
Leonardo da Vinci.
I wrote some quotes that people wrote about her. The French writer Théophile Gautier described as a strange being. Her gaze promises unknown pleasures. I don't get that person from the painting. And then English author Walter Pater called her a vampire who has been dead many times and learnt the secrets of the grave.
Okay.
I think that's about the eyebrows too, to be honest, because she does
I
look a
think
bit dead.
They're just being really imaginative about what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's a fun, like
Yeah.
how far can people get these theories?
I like that quote about the vampire though. So then very often people will mention her gaze and her smile as
Yeah.
very important, and the
Because
reason
apparently she's neither smiling, not like she's like.
she's a
She is smiling. She's like,
it's like,
But is she though?
I think
like-
she kind of is. Like, I don't think that's her face when it's relaxed. I think it's like a polite.
a polite.
I meet strangers on the street smile.
Like, even less than that. Like,
I don't think she's smiling.
okay, it's debatable. And so the painting is surrounded in mystery, and there's loads of uncertainty about her. And there's, like, why has it become subsequently so recognizable in the world? Because I feel like Da Vinci would have been like, what? This is not my best ever painting.
Nah.
Why are people making such fuss about it if he was around? Personally, he did so much. Like, he did so much. It's like, if I don't know.
Yeah, he would probably wanted to be recognized as the inventor of the tank or the plane,
Or,
and
like,
instead he's like, "Oh my, is she smiling or not?" And he would be like, "You know that Doctor Who episode where they travel back in time, they find Van Gogh, and they take him to the Van Gogh Museum."
do you know what? I genuinely have watched that.
Yeah,
Nice. But have you? Do you two know about it?
I've seen it.
So imagine if
Yeah.
they did that with Da Vinci, and he would be like super pissed off. He takes them like, "Look, the Mona Lisa," and he'd be like, "What?
What the fuck?
And
This is why I did the Last Supper?"
I don't know why it took so long to do. If it was because he just couldn't be asked, or because like they don't know the date exactly.
I think he didn't know the date exactly. I refuse to
Okay,
believe he
fine.
took 13 years to be like.
No, but he was just like, maybe I'll go back to it, I'm not sure. Okay, so the reason at the time it was a well-regarded painting, even when it was painted, because he had done a 3/4 length pose, like coming
Yeah.
to the side, like
Oh,
Yeah.
they're trying to attract someone in a club, like.
I'm sure that's what she was doing.
I don't think this, but yeah, sure.
Some
Whereas,
troubadour was like in the
3/4.
background, and she was like,
like this,
"Leonardo,
like,
will you
and
work with me?"
I think at the time they were doing profile portraits mostly, or like straight on. So that was very like, what the hell? He's really throwing the book out on this. And Vasari wrote about that. That was amazing. And he had a very good understanding of anatomy. So the way he would paint is by starting with the skeleton and then adding on flesh. And apparently that's visible in this painting. Anyway.
That's why he was. I think Michelangelo did it too, but
Yeah.
they had to do it illegally to go into like the equivalent of morgues they had in the time, and they would dissect bodies to study what they were made of inside. And of course, it was horrible, and it was heresy, because for Catholics, you're supposed to resurrect at the end of days in the Judgment Day, so you cannot tamper with the body. That's why historically they bury the dead and they don't cremate them. So yeah, imagine in this time that you are such an artist that you need to do something horribly illegal. You would probably be killed for it by the Pope or wherever, but you just were like, oh, I have to know how the man is from the inside. And they would just go like Sherlock style and let's dissect these people.
But now he's super famous, so it worked.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably the reason why the term Renaissance man exists, to refer to an artist, you know, when someone does everything.
Yeah, multi-skilled scientist, inventor, probably like invented bread. He's done it all. Yes. So there's a list of circumstances why she ended up becoming so famous, such as in the 19th century and onwards, she did start to gain a bit of traction, and people were like, oh, that's quite nice, like I vibe with that painting. And then because Leonardo was mythologized as a genius, so then any work he did was like, oh my god, this is amazing because it's by him. And the Louvre, which owned the painting, because I think this must have been the only one they had at the time, they built their collection around it, so people started to think of it as important. But that, yeah, what do you have to say? Also,
it was apparently the favorite painting ever by Napoleon. He had such a crush on Mona Lisa. He would travel everywhere with her.
Without the eyebrows.
Yeah, he was like, ooh. And he probably was a major contributing factor to it being, you know, as high regarded as it is in France. Also, some idiot called Dan Brown made a very famous book called the Da Vinci Code. And I read stats that said that the popularity of the Mona Lisa like completely skyrocketed after the fucking Da Vinci Code. Like people were not even like, and then they were like, oh man, maybe she's John the Baptist or some bullshit. And now they love it. Like it was famous and well established, but now it's like everywhere because of the fucking Da Vinci Code. I mean, that book did so well. I remember like both my parents reading it. It was everywhere. Yeah, people loved it, and then the movie came out.
Okay. And people also loved the movie.
People liked the movie, yeah.
I hated the movie.
I watched it. I didn't like it.
I hated the book to begin with, so. I
didn't read it because there was a movie.
Of course you did.
Okay, so now I've done an Imagine This.
Oh boy.
Okay. It's one of the reasons why it became so famous. So, it's 1911. Your name is Vincenzo Perugia. Perugia. Either way. You're a glass fitter at the Louvre. You've only been working there a short while, but you get infuriated every time you enter the room the Mona Lisa is displayed in. You think about how the Mona Lisa, an Italian masterpiece, made it to France. You find out Francis I of France, who hired Da Vinci as a court painter, added it to his collection. The painting was later put into the royal collection, and later after the revolution, the collection was considered to belong, quote unquote, to the people. So by the turn of the 19th century, it was installed in the Louvre and its collection grew, and so did the recognition around the painting. But you don't think this is fair, and you want justice for this Italian painting. On August 22nd, 1911, you decide to change this. You and your two mates decide to take the painting down one night and hide it in a closet. The next morning you return and you run off with it. The media go crazy that such a well-regarded institution had a Da Vinci stolen. Even the director of paintings resigns over this disaster. You are unable to sell the painting because the media attention, so you hide it in a trunk, in a false bottom that you've made into the trunk. Even Pablo Picasso, a known artist at the time, was questioned in relation to the theft. The media loved all this drama, but as time goes by, it dies down. So 2 years later, you decide to contact an Italian art dealer to sell the artwork, trusting a fellow Italian to return the painting to its rightful place, Italia. However, he contacts the authorities and you are captured, tried and convicted and imprisoned for the theft. But maybe there's a silver lining in all this, you think, whilst you're in your cold cell. Because the painting would tour Italy prior to its return to the Louvre. However, because of its triumphant return after 2 years of media frenzy and popular interest in the painting, it's now regarded a French national treasure. That's it. It wasn't meant to be funny because I wrote it at 3 a.m. But that's what happened. And because of all of this, it became like France's #1 most amazing painting ever. And then perhaps the reason why it then continued to be such a well-known painting is because other artists, such as Marcel Duchamp, a conceptual artist, your boy, he decided to play on the fact that this painting is considered like, you know, basically like an altarpiece. And he drew a moustache and a beard on a postcard of her and then put an acronym of a vulgar French phrase underneath it. And then this irreverence and the disrespect for such a highly regarded painting caused a scandal, and the image was propagated throughout France and the world. So people were then like, oh yeah, I remember that painting. Seems like a big deal. Later, Andy Warhol would play on this same idea, and many artists would distort, disfigure, and play on reproductions of her because of her recognizability and what she signifies. The painting has traveled to loads of museums around the world, like Japan and the US, and it attracts crowds of like hundreds of thousands of people. And ultimately, it's these lists of things that have made her so famous. What do we think? Does it deserve this?
Objectively, no.
No.
But you have to agree that the painting has gone through a lot, and the history,
The history of it being admired.
yeah, I think it's been used as a symbol of, like, I don't know, you know, like the fact that the French use this French treasure thingy and all that is regarded as such. It has grown into becoming this huge thing in the art world.
It's like you don't know what you've lost until you've lost it. Like if you were to lose all your photographs. Oh my god.
Only those
That's
wouldn't
very
be
emotional.
those wouldn't be regarded as treasures of Romania when they got back. That's a difference.
I'm going to disregard your cruel comments towards me and my heritage. I feel it's not. Yeah, the history is cool.
Yeah.
The history is cool.
Now, in your opinion, which one should have been the best Leonardo da Vinci painting? Or like the artwork he should have actually truly been remembered for? I think The Last Supper.
Yeah, if it wasn't so damaged, needs a bit of love, it's fine. That's genuinely such a, and as you said once a few episodes ago, it's
the medieval one, right? They talk about it.
Yeah, you said it's next to a painting that was done around the same time, but you can see how the
Leonardo was
difference
centuries ahead of his time.
He was like ahead.
Yeah.
That one is a very beautiful painting, and it also has loads of like questions and mystery, and nobody really knows. And I don't know if he did that purposefully. I don't really know if he did it purposefully for this painting by not having a record of who this is with the Mona Lisa.
I mean, Leonardo is known for hiding a lot of things in his paintings, things that intellectually would escape most of the people in their time, so they wouldn't be like, oh wow, we have to burn this guy, he's an heretic. But he would be like sneaking through them and including stuff. The most fascinating one I read about is he has this painting called The Virgin of the Rocks, which is basically a picture of Virgin Mary with Jesus as a boy, and they're in this cave. Like, it's not a baby, it's not a man, it's like 6, I don't know. And they're in this cave in the beach, right? So you see like the waves coming in the background and like the opening on the sea and all that. And apparently if you go through one of this, like, I don't know what they call, like this really advanced microscope thingies they used to study paintings. And it's the ones they used to discover that some of these paintings have like veins painted under the skin and stuff like that, like really detailed stuff that you wouldn't see with the naked eye.
If you look at his drawings, they're like that. Like,
right.
Yeah, or
so
if you use like infrared.
If you look through, I think it was an infrared, the one they used. But if you look through one of those at the rocks in the cave, he painted like fossils in the rocks.
What? That's insane.
Yeah, so like imagine if the church found out about a guy painting, like saying that there were things before Eden, because there's fossils in the rocks. It would have been insane, but he did it because my boy is smart. Was smart.
I agree that that's definitely maybe the Mona Lisa should not be his most well-known work, and especially if you see I think his drawings are the most impressive. I love his drawings so much. You can see that the idea of like him having learned anatomy to then build upon that and add bits of flesh, and like that is so amazing, especially at the time, because that's not what people were doing. Yeah, I just don't think this one deserves it.
He would have been an amazing comic book drawer.
If he was around today,
honestly,
he would have been one of the celebrities where you're reading their Wikipedia and it's like he studied this, but then he went to go do this. A bit like Brian Cox.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Who?
Brian Cox is this guy. He's like a scientist, and he's very often on TV. Okay, and he's doing he does very often like documentaries, and he used to be like a in a rock band, and then he decided, or at the same time he studied science, and now he's like a really well-known scientist. So
I know this guy.
band. He has a really nice voice. I would like him to read me a bedtime story. But he
once was in a rock band and then made the decision to. Is he still?
Science.
But then he's wearing a suit, like in one of the pictures.
He's just got so many hats he can wear, and I feel that about Leonardo da Vinci.
Well, yeah.
He can wear a lot of hats.
He can wear so many hats.
He had a massive head. He could fit all of them. Yeah.
Like he's just so many things that are going on. But then also I read that loads of his inventions are like not really his.
Mm.
Could be.
I keep hearing one person that I keep reading in YouTube comments, how people compare him to Da Vinci, and I think it's very funny because it's like really unexpected. Donald Glover. Everyone is obsessed with him, and he has it actually. Do you know his child is Gambino?
Yeah.
What the fuck? That is so weird.
No, yeah, and
He's
first
also
I was
like an actor.
but he's also an actor, which is
comedian.
not uncommon these days, right? To have a singer that is an actor as well. But apparently he's also a screenwriter. He wrote the entire he's the running guy of the show Atlanta, which I haven't watched, but apparently has very good reviews. He did now a movie with Rihanna where he's also the screenwriter and everything. And he appeared in Community, I think.
Community.
It was a sitcom, one of those sitcoms.
Okay.
Don't hate me.
Community Development,
Yeah.
Arrested Development, one of those. I don't remember which.
I don't think he was in Arrested Development.
No, and then he was in Community.
Um,
And then he dumped all of this because he wanted to be a singer. And he released like songs and I don't know, things like This Is America is one of the biggest hits in 2019 or something like that. So people are like, wow.
He's also a comedian.
Right. So he does everything.
Yeah, he's got.
but don't hate me.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Kim K.
Thank you for watching. We're done.
Goodbye. Good night.
It's a bit like
But
Kim
then
K.
she doesn't. She's
Kim
not
K
in
doesn't do
movies.
shit. She's just born in a family of a
She does
woman who
loads.
capitalized on doing a show about her
She does
family.
loads.
Just being spoiled.
Don't be rude about Kim. She does loads. Yes.
Kim, you're an idiot. Sue us, please.
Like what? What does she
She
do?
just runs businesses, trying to be a lawyer.
What's her
like,
talent? What's her
Survive.
talent?
She
just
played poker with mirror
celebrity.
glasses.
Dude, but that's like just a pig. Like she clearly did not actually do that. That's like when I say something and you go like, have you not seen the meme about it? Like I haven't done the research. Do the research. She clearly was not.
I will never do research. Look,
I've watched the episode where she's playing the poker. She's not wearing the glasses.
I watched the fucking episode where she does this thing of answering 40-something questions for some magazine or
The
home.
Vogue 73 questions interview.
Like she has a piano in the bathroom.
Dude, but I love her house though. It's just chill vibe.
And do you see the sinks don't have a hole in them?
I love
They're just
that.
like flat, and then
I
the
love
water
that.
just pours in the floor.
I
And there are
showed my
holes in
mum
the
that,
floor.
and I
What?
said, "Could you please look?" It doesn't pour into the floor. It's just very slightly indented. The flat surface is very slightly indented, and then there's a hole here. So when the sink puts water, it goes into the. I love it. I said to my mom, I said, could you put that in my
It
future
must
house?
splash like shit, like
Um,
worst design ever. And she did define our home as a minimalist monastery.
I loved it. I was like, yeah, it does. I love her.
But then all the shit that she has is not quite minimalist, is it?
She has a piano in the bathroom.
She's still married
Yeah.
to Kanye West. So minimalism.
Are they now? Because I heard somewhere that they were
There's
getting
just a
divorced.
bit of drama. I would rather not talk about it because it gets me upset.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
She got into a bit of a thing. Don't worry about it. They're trying to work it out.
Are they
They're
now?
too well known as a brand together. Like, that's a lot to risk to break up. She'd be fine though.
Why
Yeah.
Why was Kanye with Kim in the first place? He looks like he's an
love each
idiot, but
other.
he's like a smart idiot. They don't seem compatible at all.
Because
love
they
each-
liked each other.
Maybe they have astrological signs that just
That must be it, yeah.
flow together.
I don't know how they met. I read it once, but
I don't know how they met, but they seem like business people who try and just run businesses and do loads of things and make as much money and capitalize. And it's like, I'd love a relationship where we're both trying to find ways to make more money.
because you gave all your money away.
But then Kanye doesn't do much in terms of,
Of what?
She doesn't.
being a part of Kardashians.
No, he's like separate brand, but I think
he's like easy and strange
That's pretty.
outfits.
because then she goes out wearing the outfits, then everyone's like, oh my god, she looks wearing that outfit, like, where is that from? Oh, it's easy. Well, then she's like, oh, it's Skims, or it's my makeup brand, or then you're like, oh,
What is Skims?
that's like, she has like a underwear / shapewear brand called Skims,
Oh, is that like Spanx but
like
expensive?
Spanx, but Kim K.
But
Spanx.
expensive,
And
essentially.
she said it's for every skin color. Like, they are only like 4, so I don't know if I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit problematic, and they're all quite grey toned. Also, I don't know, a few problems there. Don't worry about it. Anyway, let's leave Kim K.
Kim K is very muggy. Our
She's
conclusion.
muggy.
So muggy. Anyway.
We're back to the Mona Lisa.
Is Mona Lisa muggy?
Perhaps.
If I knew,
Yeah.
would she be famous if we knew who she was and exactly like what was up? Because
I think a part of the fame came from the mystery of it.
yeah,
So it essentially came from Mona Lisa as a muggy character.
is she? She's just a chick with no eyebrows and no jewelry.
Yeah.
So I'm reading something interesting about our gal Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a huge thing, or it's been a huge thing. I don't know if it happens anymore, but throughout the 19th century, a lot of artists and like noble / important people have completely lost their mind about it, like falling completely in love, head over heels up with her.
Is that just like stories, to try and figure it out?
One of them, called an artist named Luc Maspero, in 1852, threw himself from the 4th floor of the Parisian hotel, leaving a suicide note that read, "For years I have grappled desperately with her smile. I prefer to die."
Was it addressed to Mona Lisa?
Yeah. So bear in mind that this probably was a late wave of romanticism where basically artists went back to being idiots. And so
Was Mona Lisa secretly like those floppy images that if you turn this side, it's actually she's like completely nude? That's why everyone's like
I know what you
going
mean,
nuts
yeah.
about
Yes.
it.
that's probably why. But I think it has more to do with that sentiment. So when romanticism kicked in, there was this revitalization of that platonic love from the Middle Ages, adoration to this lady, and that whole suffer for her until she's like the one who suffers the most for me is the one who loves me most, and the others, instead of being, okay, this is toxic, I should grow up, they're like, oh no, I cannot live like this, and they kill themselves. So a lot of people did that in the early 19th century because they were idiots. and one of them did it because of Mona Lisa.
Oh, a bit like how in Greek mythology they're like she then killed herself because she couldn't have him.
Yeah, but in Greek mythology it didn't exist. This time it does. That's the worrying thing.
But then
yeah.
people also romanticize Greek mythology, and they're like,
Well,
"Oh my god,
that is the reason why
that's what I'm gonna
romanticism
do."
happened, basically.
Yeah.
Romanticizing the past and becoming toxic
But if you
with
didn't,
emotionally fucked up people.
it's a bit like how in the National Gallery they have like, you know, girl with pearl earring. It's famous because, you know, what is it? No one knows. The Arnolfini marriage. Who are they? Nobody knows. It's famous.
Arnolfini marriage is, I can tell you 1,000 reasons why that is a very important painting.
Yeah, I love that. I understand why that painting is famous, and I understand why it's well known and very often referenced. But like, if you're writing an essay, how many times have you referenced the Arnolfini marriage? How many times have you referenced the Mona Lisa?
I've
never
never referenced
that.
either of them.
Oh, I've referenced the Arnolfini marriage. Oh, but I did art history, so
That's me as well.
that might be why. And we did contemporary art this year, so that might also be why.
Do you have concluding thoughts about Mona?
She has no eyebrows. It freaks me out.
She has a what?
She has no eyebrows. It freaks me
Oh.
out. As a painting, it's okay. It's nice. But again, it's just like history aligns itself for there to be all of these things that happen in connection to her, and now she's well known. A bit like fidget spinners.
Yes.
Just like everyone obsessing over it for no apparent reason, and then now it's famous.
They were out for ages, and then they just like went crazy.
Just like people on TikTok.
Oh, I love TikTok.
Why do you love TikTok?
I think Mona Lisa is a great example of how something ordinary with time transcends its ordinariness and becomes an object that
It's like
is
sanctified.
completely sanctified. Yeah, that's a great word. You know,
Big
the way
words
you
from
would.
Javier.
Yes. So you know how we find now, I don't know, like a toothbrush from Egypt, and we're like, this is the most important finding ever, and for the Egyptian it was just a toothbrush, which this is a similar thing.
Fair.
Fair enough.
Okay, Chrissy, what are your concluding thoughts?
I just think that it is overrated.
Okay, we're in agreement. Bish bash bosh.
But still worth having a look. I think
Yeah.
it's more about, but then having a look of it, kind of, it's more about the experience of seeing something so famous that it has so much protection around it.
And it's
That
so
it's
small
not
in real
raw.
life.
You can't see it raw.
Yeah, and it's smaller in real life.
Yeah, it's fucking minuscule. And I think it's really interesting to experience the hype, to see it, and
Yeah.
whether you feel like it's still worth the hype, or do you feel like, oh, great.
I remember I went to see it 2 times, I think, and both times there was like a sea of heads between me and the Mona Lisa. I've never been closer to it than like 15 meters. It's impossible.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
get close.
These people just like are completely stuck there, like looking at it. It's like insane.
I managed to get close because I was really small. I think I was like 13.
Oh, nice.
I kind of like slid through, and they would let you slide through because you're a kid. But then I was like, wow. And then I still had those like really tiny Sony camera that's like this size, and you could like,
Yeah.
Ah.
At least with an iPhone, you could have like done a little film like that,
yeah,
and then
But-
looked at it and been like, okay.
yeah. But
I've
I
seen
did
it.
like
Nice.
a few pictures like that, and then I went back out and I was like, that was really anticlimactic. Let's go to the cake shop.
Yeah. To me, the big thing in the Louvre to see is the winged victory of Samothrace. That is a much more impressive statue to me. Well, it's artwork. They're not the same thing. But I think that was my favorite thing in the Louvre. This is entering a different realm, a different episode matter, perhaps.
Yeah, they've pillaged loads of stuff from the Romans, which is nice to see.
Well, the Romans pillaged a lot of stuff from other places, so fuck them.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So much hostility.
Yeah,
I have-
now our Italian listeners will stop listening.
I have a grudge on Romans.
Okay, I'm sorry. Wait, we can't get into this episode. It would just be too much.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for listening. We love you. Like and subscribe. Maybe DM us what you think about me
Always
and
DM
Lisa.
us.
Yeah, DM us anything. DM us like what you had for breakfast. DM us
Yeah.
like your
Slide
relationship
cheeky
issues.
DM.
You know, anything. Just DM us. We'll
Yeah.
we'll get back to you. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Love you.
Love you.
Hope you enjoyed listening to this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. If you especially loved our episode, we would love it if you gave it a 5-star rating and a review, and even consider taking a screenshot of this episode and posting it on your Instagram stories. That way we know that you loved it and other people can find our podcast as well. If you're not subscribed yet, again, what are you doing? Subscribe and get notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Chart Podcast, and if you want to see our faces while we talk, find us on YouTube at Chart Podcast as well. We are Chart and we'll hope we'll meet you again at some point in the near future. Take care, Chart out.
Love you.
See you.
Love
See you
you.
later.
Bye.
Bye.